Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be checking out the line of JR products replacement gas shocks. When it comes to these gas shocks, they're on a lot of different things, whether it be RVs, campers, boats. I'm sure a lot of people are really familiar with these on their passenger cars. You go to open the trunk or your hatch and it wants to drop back down on you because over time these things just wear out. They start to lose pressure, and then it's super annoying because any application that these are used on, it's designed to keep something open so you can get in there and not bonk your head on it or have to prop it up and make do. And over time, personally, you just kind of get sick of having to deal with it. And by changing these things out, it's going to solve that problem and make life a little bit easier on you. And just a perfect example of that today. So the owner of the RV here, his battery disconnect switch and other maintenance items are underneath, I guess you'd call it the hood. And one of these shocks is wore out, and so it only holds this open about halfway. So it's either crawl in underneath here or hold this up above your head, and then that takes away one hand while you're trying to turn your battery disconnect off or do whatever it is you're trying to do. So by getting this replaced, it should hold this up completely and work the way it's designed to. So if you are looking to replace your gas strut, you're going to need to know which one's going to work with your particular application, right? And so there's a few things that you can do because there's a bunch of different sizes, lengths, styles of ends, how much pressure these are designed to hold, and so on. And so you can do a couple of things to make sure you get the right one. That's probably one of the most difficult things to figure out. You get to looking around and there's 100 different ones. Well, which one do you need? So one of the things you can do is measure the overall length of it, and you want to measure it, your old one, in the fully extended position, and you want to go from the center of the attachment point to the center of the attachment point. And then you take that same measurement by fully compressing it, and that's one of them. And you also want to pay attention to the type of ends. So this end, at least from my experience, is the most common, and a lot of people probably have a setup like that one there. But every application's a little different. There's a couple other styles too that are similar, but definitely different. So pay attention to that. And then you need to know, all right, how much pressure is this designed to hold up? Because if you have something relatively heavy like this and you put a weak shock on it, even though it's the right length and everything else, it's not going to hold it up, right? And so a lot of times, if you're not sure of that, a lot of times if you look at your old one, it'll say that specification on there. If it doesn't, chances are pretty good too. There will be some type of information, a part number, something along those lines that you can cross-reference and search to find that pressure rating. The shocks are going to have what they call a black nitride finish. Feels good, feels nice, and well built. Actually has some weight to it, so hopefully it'll hold up for quite some time. And in terms of getting these in place, usually they're not too bad. Keep in mind though, every application is going to be a little bit different. We'll actually go through and change this one out together on here, but keep in mind, like I said, everyone will be a little bit different. So you can just use this as more of a reference or a guide, and hopefully this information will kind of get you going in the right direction on how to change yours. First things first, we need to remove the old shock. Whatever you're working with, get it in the open so you can actually access everything. And keep in mind too, if you only have one shock or they're both really bad, obviously, when you undo this, it could potentially close whatever it is you're working on. So if you need to support it, or have a friend help you, just something to think about. But at the ends, there's going to be a metal strap, I guess you could call it, and there will be an opening there where you can take a flathead screwdriver, and with this being the old one, I'm just going to pull this completely off. So that'll just pop off, and then you want to grab the end and undo it. And to get it completely removed, I'm going to do that same exact process for the other end of our shock. We'll work this other piece off the back and get our shock out of the way. Our new shock, the one end I just snapped right back on. That's how it works too. You don't have to even mess with the metal strap. You're just going to line it up with the ball, and once it's lined up, it just kind of clicks into place. Sometimes this can be difficult, especially these are pretty high pressure, and so I'm going to lift this up as high as I can to get it relatively close, and then I'm going to push down on our shock until it lines up, and then I'll snap it into place there. So with that snapped in now, our door is staying completely open. There's some good resistance when it goes down. It holds nice and tight, especially once you lock these, and it feels good. So we'll open this up, and just like that, we're in good shape again. And that'll finish up our look at of the JR Products replacement gas shocks.